Welcome back everyone, it's Deb here with another card for you, and this time I am making an easel card. So I will give you some measurements and some scoring measurements, and then we will decorate the card. So the first piece of cardstock you want to cut is 4.5 by 4.5, and that's going to be the front panel we decorate. The next piece will be 4.5 by 9 inches. And then we're going to score. So you're going to score at 2.25 and then score again at 4.5. And you'll see here I've got a little diagram that your panel that we decorate will be adhered to that little section of the cardstock. So I knew I wanted to use this Hip Hip Hooray sentiment from the cut apart sheet. I cut it out and then started to fussy cut out around those flowers and leaves, and then decided because I was making the rosette I just wanted a circle, and it didn't really bother me that you could still see a part of the leaves and the flowers left on the sentiment on the circle there. It kind of blends in once the rosette's underneath it. So, and now I'm just cutting my cardstock down. I played around with some measurements and then came up with the 4.5 by 9, and I'm going to score this piece, and this is the one that you score at 4.5 and 2.25, did I say? Yeah, I think it was. So I'm just cutting down the front panel of the card, which was the 4.5 by 4.5 piece. And I am going to get my bone folder and just burnish on all them score lines, and just testing to see that everything goes together well. I was planning on using the flare. I wasn't sure what I was going to pop there, so I did play around a bit with some things, and I knew I wanted to use the other side of this cut apart, and it really killed me to do this. That lovely polka dot print that's on the back, oh, I just wanted to hoard it, and the fact that those cut aparts are on the other side too, oh, it just really hurt to cut into this. So I did cut that down to 4.25 by 4.25 so I could fit it on the front panel of the card. And now I'm going to work on the rosette. So I had a bit of this watercolor flower pattern paper left, and I cut that down to 1 7/8 of an inch. Oh my goodness, I can't talk again today. And they're roughly about 8 inches long, and I'm going to join them together to make the rosette. And to give the rosette just something a little extra, I punched a border along the edge of both pieces, and then I do the scoring. Now I can't give you an exact measurement of the score marks I made because I just scored in between each of those scallops, and it worked out to be roughly just under 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do that now to both pieces of pattern paper. So just bolting on all them score lines, accordion kind of style, and then after I've done that to both pieces, I am going to join them up. I do use score tape because I feel that is quite strong and nothing should fall apart. So just getting ready to join them up, and you want to make sure that the mountain valley pattern of the accordion fold continues. So I just had to trim a little bit off the edge of each one to make sure that that mountain and valley pattern continues throughout. So now I'm going to join both ends up, and then it will come to the fun part of trying to lay this down flat. And you'll want to punch a circle like I'm doing here, just so you can glue it to something once you get it down flat. I thought I could try and hold it all there, and it pops out on me a couple of times, but I get there in the end. So just putting it adhesive onto that little punch circle and trying my best to, yep, see, there it goes. To glue that circle to the bottom of the rosette so it all stays together. Now I did have to hold it down for a while till that glue kind of took to it, and now I'm just going to glue this sentiment straight to the top. And just adhering the pattern paper to the front of the card, and I always have trouble trying to center something, so it took me a couple of goes, but I get there. And I didn't really want to cut into this pattern paper again, but I wanted it to match, so yeah, it hurt again, but I did it. I cut another piece 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 to put on the bottom part of the card. And yes, that was my daughter in the background telling me to be quiet. So to make your easel stand up and not kind of flop forward, you need to put down a stopper. So I grabbed one of them stickers, the word stickers from a sticker sheet, and I'm just going to mat it with some of that pink cardstock we got. And then I will grab some foam tape and just pop it up and stick it to the card, just so it acts like a stopper, but then you've got another little decorative element there. Now I only tucked down that rosette very lightly, so I'm just going to grab my glossy accents and adhere it down. I feel that'll hold it there. And the next part, I've got a little diagram coming up. It's very important that you only put adhesive on the last part of that 2 1/4 inch panel. I've slowed down the video here so you can see I'm putting down adhesive on that last 2 1/4 inch panel, and I'm not going past the score line. This is where your panel is going to stick onto. So if you put adhesive past that score line, the card's not going to work properly. And once you get all your adhesive on there, you're just going to line up the bottom of your panel to the bottom of the card there and stick it down. And you can see there on the still frame that it's only stuck to that last 2 1/4 inch panel there, and that's what gives you the easel part of the card. So I wanted to bling it up a bit, so I did grab some rhinestones from my stash. I stuck one on each side of the sentiment there, and I do stick some up on the rosette and the main panel of the card. it's time to make the envelope for our card. So I did grab my punch board out and I made a 5x5 envelope because I knew that rosette came up a bit, so it would make it a bit bulky. So I wanted to make the card, the envelope, sorry, a little bit bigger. So I cut my cardstock down to 8 1/8 by can't talk again. 8 1/8 by 8 1/8, and the first score line was at 4 1/8. A bit hard to say when you got a speech impediment. So I did use some American Crafts cardstock from my stash, and I did notice that it did kind of crack along the edges when I burnished my folds. So, and I also remembered this time to round my corners before I adhered anything down. So just making sure that the card fits in there nicely. I kept it in there when I put the first bit of adhesive on, instead of just gluing it flat shut, so it could accommodate that rosette. So to finish it off, I did die cut a piece of white copy paper with one of my dies and the Big Shot to stick on the front of the envelope, and I'm just going to wrap some of this pretty twine we got from the kits, got in the kits, sorry. Just wrap it a couple of times and tie a bow on the front. So that is it for me today, guys. I hope I wasn't too all over the place for you. It feels like that this morning. So I am going to show you the card here now, and then there will be some close-ups, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.